Hello, hello. My name is Linda, also known as Tortajala around the internet, and I love creative journaling and all things stationery. In this video, I wanted to do a casual chat about stationery wish lists. The idea is that you would write down the things you want on a wish list before hitting add to cart. And I also mentioned this idea in my stationery purchasing regrets video because I have found this practice to be really good in curbing impulse purchases, right? Because today on our phones, with all of the access, it's all too easy to check out like with one click. So the idea is that you would never buy something on impulse. You would put it on your wish list because you could go back to it later. And chances are you're probably going to cancel out like a lot of the stuff that you put on this list because there's no longer the excitement of the moment and getting caught up. And it gives you time to sort of consider the purchase a little bit more, pros and cons, all that kind of stuff. And so I'm not talking about a wish list like grail items that you want or making a list for your spouse for gifts that you want. I'm more so thinking about like a working list where it's like a holding spot for all of your like purchase impulses and considerations. And I really like the idea, and I took it a bit further using the tips that Journal with Jazz suggested. She's here on YouTube and Instagram about how you can journal about the items you're adding to your wish list as well, because you can do like a pro and con list. You can write out the pricing, like your thoughts, your reasonings, like really go through the whole evaluation process on paper, because that will help you clarify if you really want the item or not and if it's worth your hard earned money, that kind of thing. And from my personal experience, I felt that it did work. It eliminated the impulse purchase. And, it's just obvious that no matter what we do, we're going to be exposed to marketing, and there's always going to be new products or new to you products. So you're going to be enticed, right? So having this wish list idea has definitely helped me, because after the fact, there are many a time that I have crossed out items that are no longer exciting to me because, like, the frenzy or the trend or whatever died off over time. And even more importantly, many times I would take the time to consider like all aspects regarding that item. And then I would find out, okay, there's actually some deal breakers. So even if I really, really love the item, I just can't justify buying it. Perhaps case in point are the beautiful Bennu pixies that have been released. It seems that everyone has one, right? And Bennu has gone all out because they release special edition colors and exclusives. So enticing. But I realized that they are part of, a normal collection. It's not going to sell out. They're going to restock, so there's no need to get it immediately. And after watching so many reviews and like unboxings, I realized that it's just too small for me. Like, it's cute, no doubt, but I would want a pen that I could use for long form writing. I don't need like a pocket pen. So it's just not going to work. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And I would rather save the money for like a full size Bennu pen. You know what I mean? Like, there are other models that are bigger rather than the Pixie size. So that's just a real life example of how like writing something down on your wish list, it can give you time to like really consider all the pros and cons and reasons, and then you can make a better informed decision to buy it or not. And it sounds all good, right? So what's the problem? Well, the problem for me in regards to a stationary wish list is that after like these months, it's helped in terms of not doing the impulse buy. But I wanted to share this thought and ask you what you thought about it, as like, obviously stationary people and always having things that you want, right? Um, I think that the wish list is good in curbing uh, impulse purchases, right? Because you're giving yourself time to evaluate. But I'm starting to wonder if it actually doesn't help in curbing purchases in general. Like, even the opposite, I think it might be making me do more purchasing, if that makes sense. I don't know. Hear me out. In the past, before I had like the stationery wish list thing, of course I would fall into the stationery impulse game sometimes, right? You get too riled up and then you like do that one click, buying thing. But I also felt that, you know, you could try to control yourself many times. You didn't always buy every single thing that, looked cute or whatever. And I felt like in the past, I might have just like forgotten about stuff. Like there's so many things that are of interest, but then you sort of forget about it. It drops off, sort of your radar kind of thing. And then it's just gone. You never think about it again. But what I've realized is having everything noted, like being diligent about putting everything on a stationary wish list, is that my stationary wish list then just keeps growing. It's like a big list, right? Um, and it means that I need to consider it. So I need to take time and look through my list and be like, okay, what I'm going to cross out. And I guess that's the problem. Now I end up spending actually a lot of time thinking about the potential things that I want because I've made a list and I'm constantly being reminded about them every time I flip through my planner, where I have my list. And so it's like, am I influencing myself? Am I actually setting myself up to actually buy more? Because, like, if I'm able to, convince myself that it's a good buy, pros, cons, whatever, even if it's a delayed purchase, it's still a purchase. And in the past, would I've just forgotten about all this stuff and not even considered it, because it's just like, dropped off kind of thing. Um, and there's also that unconscious like reinforcement thing. If you put something on a list, you're gonna like read it over and over again, over and over, and it's almost like you're impressing it on your brain, right? So I feel like no one talks about this, like this aspect of creating a stationary wish list. Is it actually backfiring? And unfortunately, I don't have like regular habits tracking to be able to say, like, oh, before this happened and after making wish list, this happened. So I don't have any like scientific data to back this all up. It's sort of just a feeling. Because I don't think I've ever maybe spent that much time thinking about like the purchases before actually doing the purchases. Like it's a good and bad thing, right? So I thought it was an interesting topic and I just wanted to bring it up. And I know that everyone is probably cutting back more these days and trying to prepare for an uncertain future. So yeah, I was just wondering if you make like a stationary wish list type of thing, do you think that it is more helpful? Or do you think that it's more hurtful in the end? What do you think? I would love to hear your thoughts because it has been preying on my mind. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. And if you want to see more stationery videos, please subscribe. I hope you have a lovely day. And until next time, bye.